the Raj of South Asia, which was at one time a jewel of the Raj, of the British Raj, inherited from the British the tradition of an independent judiciary and embraced it and hung on to it and aspires towards the aspiration of an independent judiciary in Pakistan and in the people of Pakistan amongst them is intense and deep-rooted. So when a military general pulls out the judiciary from its foundation by incarcerating and arresting the judges, the Pakistani people are naturally outraged, and the lawyers were outraged, and the lawyers came out onto the streets in black coats and black ties. This is called the Black Coats Revolution. And we are grateful to the American attorneys all over. The American Bar Association honored us through me last June with its highest award. The Chief Justice on the 17th of this month, who's still not been, who was released in March, but has not been reinstated to his office, even by the democratic government that has taken office after Musharraf. The Chief Justice was honored on the 17th, last 17th, the 17th of this month, a week ago, with the New York Bar's honorary membership for life. Chief Justice Chaudhary is the 7th person to have been granted that honor by the New York Bar Association. The Howard University granted him on the 19th its Medal of Freedom, which again is a medal that is not given or granted every year or once a decade. It is person specific, and it has been awarded only twice before. Twice before only. First time it was awarded to an attorney, then an attorney, later judge of the Supreme Court, Thurgood Marshall. Second time it was awarded was to Nelson Mandela. And the third awardee of that Medal of Freedom 5 or 6 days ago was the Chief Justice of Pakistan, Iftikhar Mohammad Chaudhary. Now imagine the honors that he receives, the accolades he receives. Similarly in Europe, similarly other places he is at this moment, as of this moment, he is lecturing at the George Washington University in DC. He's lectured in other universities in a short lecture tour of 10 days. I was with him, I parted ways with him just to be here with you, and I go back early tomorrow morning, having come here just to take a U-turn. Came yesterday and taking a U-turn. Now I'm in the middle of the U-turn, and 6 o'clock in the morning I should be on a flight back to New York. But it's a pleasure to be here. It's worth my while having come here. Now, the first lesson, as I said, to be learned, to be taught, to be shared among American thinkers, decision makers, policy makers, is that Pakistan is not an Arab state, it is a South Asian state. Think of it like that. Second is that a parliamentary democracy or democracy as such cannot survive without an independent judiciary. In fact, the composite structure of democracy contains two state institutions, a sovereign parliament and an independent judiciary. It is incomplete without either. So if the American administration boasts or claims that it has instituted democracy in Pakistan, we deny that claim, we refute that claim, because until and unless the independent judges are reinstated, there will be no full, proper democracy in the country, although elections have taken place and a new elected government has been formed. Why it is reluctant to reinstate the independent judiciary is another question, separate question, which I will address later on very shortly. But the fact remains that the independent judges have not been reinstated. And you cannot, as was stated by the chairman and quoting me in fact, you cannot build a parliamentary system or a democracy on the debris or ruins of the edifice of the justice system. The third fact that is necessary to remember is that in the theatre of war on terror, it is necessary to have an economic growth and development. Without economic growth and development, we will lose the war. Now, economic growth and development cannot come through dole and aid alone. So while the Biden-Lugar bill specific to Pakistan is a step in the right direction, positive direction, aiming to provide aid to civilian sectors of the economy rather than the military, it's in the right direction. But aid and dole, 1.5 billion a year, is pittance. It's not going to change Pakistan or give it the push that is required, the knee-jerk sort of move that is required towards economic development and prosperity. There can be no economic development and prosperity in any country without investment, massive investment, and countless big investors. Now, you can't push the investors to Pakistan. They have their own private and personal and corporate interests. And the world also is in a crisis at the moment. You can't push private investors into Pakistan. Investment, an investor will invest in that country only where he feels his investment will be secure. Meaning thereby, a country in which the rules of law are enforced by judicial verdicts. Meaning thereby, an investor will feel that his investment is secure only in a country where the judiciary is independent. Meaning again thereby that a judiciary will be independent not because the Constitution provides in the letter of the Constitution in the fine print that the judiciary shall be independent. A judiciary is independent when the judges are fearless and independent. And if you put in jail or dismiss fearless and independent judges and put in their place timid and timorous souls, no investor will go towards that country. So an independent and fearless judiciary comprising of independent and fearless judges is essential to attract investment in a country, and particularly the kind of investment that Pakistan, being the frontline state in the war on terror, needs to cut down unemployment, to raise production, improve infrastructure, improve the service sector, and thereby bring down the cost of living